Hello there and welcome. In today's video I will make a book holder, or you can of course just have it in your bookshelf anyway. What I need is of course some clay. I use stoneware clay. I need some slip, and this is made of the same clay that I'm going to use. You might need some tools and some water, and of course you need a kiln if you are going to burn it afterwards when you're done. Okay, so first of all I need to wedge the clay. Okay, so that's enough. Now, when you wedge the clay, you get all of the air bubbles out, and you also work up this plasticity in your clay. The first thing I'll do now is make the body. This will be for later. I start by making a pinching pot. Use my thumb and my hand, and I pull the clay so that I get more or less a round ball or a small pot or a mug like this. You can feel with your hand the thickness of the walls. This is really a basic technique, but you can use it in almost everything you do, especially when you make sculptures and you have to work up a base for everything. Okay, so now I have this pot or a mug, and you can see I can reach all the way into it. It's this thick all the way through. Now I want to close this hole a little bit, and that's really easy. I just use my fingers and some water, and I squeeze it and turn it all the way. Here we go. That's it. Now this is going to be the body, and I will make a head on top of this. After that, I want to make a hole straight through it, so I just push a hole all the way, because I want air to have a way to circulate all through my mouse. This is going to be the head, and as you can see I've already pinched this one, so I have the same thickness all the way through. When you pinch your bowls like this, think about it that you lock your fingers in the same position. Don't think so much about the clay, just remember to use your fingers the same way all the time. So this is like having a wheel and making something on a wheel, throwing on a wheel. But instead you just use your own fingers and turn it a little bit at a time. Now again I need to close this one up a little bit, because I don't want this big hole, so I just press a little bit at a time, so that my head is going to be the right size, and I will just leave a small hole in there. like that. Put some slip on, and it's important that I don't close the hole, like that. Same thing with the head, some slip. Like so. And then I just attach them. Push it together, like that. That's it. I will cut away a little bit because I can't work too much, you know, shape this too much because it's hollow inside, so the risk is that I squeeze too much and get air bubbles inside, and that's not really good. So I cut away a little bit and attach some more clay. You can see this is not going to look like Mickey Mouse, but it's kind of an inspiration of that. Now I need 2 ears on this one too, of course, and I was thinking about making the legs stick out a little bit and maybe even cut the back if I want to have books on this side. But that's for later. Now, if you make ears, my ground rule is if it's thicker than 2 fingers, it should be hollow. But in this case, I think we could even use ears without having to make them hollow. But to be sure, I will just stick a hole and put 2 small ears on that one too. The best way to cut clay is actually by using a thread. So 1 and 2 ears. One. And 2. Okay. Now I actually have to dig a small hole. As you probably can see, when I plan where the ears should sit, they make a small mark on the head, so I don't have to think about where to put the holes, because it shows like that. Now I just need to cut a hole. By using this tool, I can dig inside. If you don't have it, you can also use just a needle or a wooden stick. That's no big deal. So I'll make 2 holes for the ears. And of course I have to see that it's actually all the way through. And this is some slip. And just attach it. And of course I need to place the holes on top of each other like that. Then again with my tool, I dig inside. So I want one leg there and the second one there. And of course I need some arms too. So that's one. And here comes the second one. Remember to make one left and one right. Like that. Small tool, because I want to make the toes so they show better. I think I'll just make 4 toes. I usually do. It's almost more important that the underside of the foot is more accurate, because you are going to see that better. This is going to show much more like this. Of course you can see the upper side also, but when it sits somewhere, it's probably that side that shows. Okay, some slip. And attach the leg to the foot. And now, just by using my fingers, I can get this to stick really well. And then the next one. Let's check this. This is going to be like that. So this is the underside. And now we have 2 legs like that. You can see they look a little bit rough still, but I will let them dry a little bit and then use some water on my fingers and some tools to make them more beautiful. Now I will make the hands. Some water, and then just shape the piece of clay. And again, I just want 4 fingers, 1 thumb, 3 fingers. So this is now the first hand. You can of course bend the fingers the way you want. I am going to bend a little bit to get the right feel. I'd like to thank you all for watching my videos, by the way. I know that right now I have many people who wants to look at everything that has to do with bonsais and pots. Yes, well, the Finnish season for bonsais, it's so short because we have, like for instance today, we have -15, and it's a long, long way before we have summer. So, yes, I'd love to have more bonsais and make more pots, but well, my inspiration when it comes to bonsai pots is not that big when you have to go outside and do a lot of snow work all the time. So I wish that all of you guys find something interesting. Maybe you could have a mouse sitting on your bonsai pot too, I don't know. First hand. And all of you other guys who don't work that much with bonsais, I would love to hear from you, and please tell me what you would like to see more of on my channel. It's always hard to know what everybody likes and loves. And the second. Okay, it's time to start attaching everything. First of all, because I have this small piece of chipwood, or this small piece of chipwood board, the thing I have to think about first is how to place the legs so that it will sit perfectly. Remember, I still have a hole inside, so this is hollow. And now I can attach my legs to my mouse just by placing it on top of my legs. So I will position my legs the way I want them. And of course, if you want to have one knee up, that's also very easy to do. But I want it to sit more or less just like that. I can use my thread to cut away a little bit, like so, and place my mouse over that. And remember, some slip. And then we just attach it to the right spot like that. And like that. Here we go. And I try them out first. Maybe I want one like that. And one just like so. And then I cut like so. There's one. And the second one. Like so. And we will attach it. I want to make some shorts for this guy, so I just cut this piece of coil and this piece of coil, put some slip on, and then I press them against the legs like that, so that it looks like his shorts. And I do the same thing on the other one. I'll remove the hand for a while. Press it. Here we go. Just a small piece of clay up here. If he's going to have shorts, he should actually have this belt around his waist or something. So I also need to make that one. Okay, so what I do now is attach a small piece of coil on the back side like that. This is going to be his shorts, so you can see where the fur will end, and of course I have to continue with that on the other side. And then attach it to the right spot. Just pushing. And as always, if you have too much clay, you can just use your thread to cut it the way you want it. So I cut away a little bit, put it there, and that's going to look alright. Time to leave it for a while. So I'll see you in a while. I would love to hear from you guys, because I'd like to know what you like. What would you like to see in my, or what would you like to see on my channel? Is there something special that you would like me to build? Remember, it's going to try to be something not that hard, because it's called the Easy Sculpting channel, and well, some of the things I do are easy, some are not so easy, but this is not so hard anyway. Okay, what I could do now, of course, is if I want this to be mounted to a wall, I could make a hole in here, and I think I might do it just because then I can have it sitting in the air if I want to, and if it sits against some books it doesn't show, but I know that it's not really much left of the clay here, so just by using my tool I could get a really nice hole in here. So I'll make a small hole in here. There we go. And that's perfect if I would like to hang it up on a wall. think this one is almost done. So it's time to leave it to dry, and after that I will bisque fire it, use some oxides or maybe some glazing on this. I don't want it shiny though, so I have to think about what to put on. And after that, the last fire, and then I will show the result. Bye from now.
And it all took me about 4 weeks before I was sure about that it was dry. If you feel your clay and it feels room temperature, not cold, then it's probably dry, and then you can bisque fire it. The oxide that I paint on right now is a copper oxide diluted in water, and I also use a little bit of iron oxide for the shorts. You can wash away a lot of it if you want to, but I want to leave it almost black all the way through, especially on the fur. After that, it's time to put it in the kiln for the last time. And I burn it in 1250 degrees centigrade. And this is actually what it looks like when it's done. And as you can see, my bookshelf is really in need of a book holder. So my mouse will be perfect in there. The other thing you can do, of course, as I already showed you, I made a hole in the back of my mouse. So just by attaching it to a nail in the wall, I can have it sit on a wall looking out of the room. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video.